for attending our second webinar series of eSPO. eSPO stands for Electronic Shared Prosperity Organization. Yeah, so this is from Malaysia Productivity Corporation. So before I begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Ida Yasin. I'm from Putra Business School. So I'll be the moderator for today, and we have our speaker, Dr. Ainia Bahrum. But before I read the CV of the speaker, let me introduce the department, which is Productivity Language System. That is a department under Malaysia Productivity Corporation. So this program is the second webinar series in the year 2021. So once again, I would like to congratulate and thank all the attendees for coming to the session. I would like to introduce the speaker. We are very fortunate today, Dr. Anya. Maybe you can switch on the camera and switch on the microphone. This is Dr. Anya Baharum. So the title today is The New Normal Challenge Towards Emotional Balance. So all of you ladies and gentlemen, we know that for a year already we have the situation of pandemic COVID-19. So this topic is very important for us. How do you embrace the new normal and the challenge towards emotional balance? So before I give the floor to Dr. Anya, let me briefly read her CV. In terms of experience, she had about 26 years of experience in university governance and administration, as well as the human resource management. Yeah, so it covers their experience in developing HR strategic plans, developing the workforce, conducting HR placement, the audit, and also succession planning. So in terms of academic qualification, Dr. Anya has a PhD in policy development and analysis from the University of Malaya, and she has a Master Science, Personnel Management and Business Administration from Aston Business School in the UK, and Bachelor degree in Business Administration, Industrial Relations in US. Yeah, that is way back in 1988. So with the expertise and also the consultancy experience, she also have this external consultant to Rolls-Royce Industrial Power, which is located in the UK, and Sapura, of course, in the country and outside the country. So I believe that Dr. Ainia is the right person to speak to us today with the title, The New Normal Challenge Towards Emotional Balance. So with that introduction, Dr. Ainia, I would like to pass to you the floor. Please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ida. Okay, let's start. Do you want to start straight away with the slides?
Yes.
Okay.
Meanwhile, while Dr. Anya is sharing the screen, let me inform you, ladies and gentlemen, you may have questions along the way. So you can always type your questions in the chat box, or you can always raise your hand. There is a button, a yellow button at the bottom, and you can raise your hand, and you should be allowed to be, unmute yourself and raise your question. Yeah, two ways of questions, via chat box, and also you can raise your hand and can speak directly to the speaker. Okay,
Dr.
over
Ida,
to you. Yes, Tanya.
Is the screen ready now?
No,
can
not
you
yet.
see the presentation? Not yet.
Not yet. You need
Let's
to click the screen share, yellow button at the bottom.
The green button?
Yes,
share.
green button. Sorry.
Share. So now it's not working. Just now it was working.
It's okay. Yeah, it's coming out now.
Okay.
But I see myself, you may want to, yes, click the PowerPoint slides. Yes, you're right. Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Ida. It's good to work with you again. It's been quite a long time, right? I would like to thank Director Sugu, Dr. Suryati, Mimi and Sakina. Mimi, good to see you again. And also the organizing committee and PLWS as a whole for hosting this event and also for inviting me to share.
Yeah, Dr. Anya, can you switch on your camera so that we can see you?
I thought it wasn't switched off. Just a minute. Yeah.
You just go not, at the bottom on the left hand side. There is a video there. I'll start my video. Yeah. Yes, that's the one.
All right.
So you can click to your PowerPoint slides. Yes. Okay, good.
First time using Zoom, okay? I'm used to
Okay.
Google Meet. All right.
Please.
Anyway, okay. The topic today that we have is the new normal, challenges towards emotional balance, which is the talk of the world actually since a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody is talking about the new normal. Everyone has their own take on it. Politicians, industries, CEOs, employees, university students, school kids, lecturers, teachers, parents, even preschool kids, heads of state leaders, all have their own grievances and also solutions on the new normal. So, however, I'd like to share the challenges we face towards obtaining some sort of emotional balance, especially at the workplace, wherever the workplace is at the moment, right? Before I start with what is emotional balance, I would like to state a disclaimer here. I am by no means a psychologist, okay? Professional or otherwise. My area is in human resource. Though we wear many hats in HR, we can be moms, dads, psychologists even, police sometimes. So what I share would be inclined towards the HR perspective, right? EB, what is EB? EB is when a person is aware of his or her own emotions. He or she is also to manage and take charge of these emotions. It's when, yeah, everybody has emotions. We are angry sometimes, we are sad, we are happy. Those are all emotions. Everyone as human beings have emotions. But are we aware of it? And how do we manage it properly? Emotions can often be overwhelming to people, especially in this era where social media is in abundance and you can post your grievances, you can post your sadness, you can even post your anger in anywhere and to anybody. So how do people react to this? People normally react towards emotions either by suppressing them. I am macho, I'm sophisticated, I'm cool, I can handle everything. Some, however, just let it out. I'm just shouting, I'm going crazy. But either way can be destructive. Either one, suppressing it or letting it out, can be destructive and it can lead to unprofessionalism, especially if you are in a working environment. Can you imagine a boss who is shouting his or her head off? So it's so unprofessional. But that is how some people express their emotions. However, an emotionally intelligent person will be able to obtain emotional balance. One has to use rationality. Balanced well with is not rationality per se, it must be balanced with feelings as well, like empathy, wisdom, understanding, acceptability. You must accept that this is happening. How do I make it better from here onwards? EB, emotional balance, it is very, very crucial in a work environment, especially now, or especially in a crisis and a pandemic, because you must maintain harmony between the management and the people, the bosses and the subordinates, and it will create healthy work environments, healthy work interactions. So mindfulness and rationality must coexist together. Then it will result in EB. So in short, EB is how we react to our emotions using emotional intelligence to ensure harmony and also to ensure that there is a healthy work environment. This is EB in the workplace. Okay, let's move on. When we have emotional balance, we should also understand what is emotional imbalance. What is it? These are few of the major causes of emotional imbalance that I've come across. One is work stress. In a working environment, imbalance can be caused by work stress. Work stress doesn't mean you're overloaded with work. Work stress can also mean you are not given work, right? Too much work, too little work, lack of knowledge, pressure from a superior, family issues being brought to the office. Sometimes you cannot help it. It is too overwhelming at home. Okay? It can also be caused by unclear direction from the bosses, from the management, from your head of departments. For example, directives are not clear. Oh, where do you want to go, boss? What is it that you want actually? Frequent changes made by fickle-minded bosses, unclear and chaotic conditions. Like life is not chaotic enough, I have to have this guy, this lady in the office who is causing me headache. What is expected of me? I do not know. Am I going or coming? This can cause imbalance. The workplace itself, the office itself, like you dread to go to work. You not only dread the traffic jam, but you dread going to work. It can also be a stressor because if it's a stressor, then it can cause imbalance. Unhealthy environment, problematic co-workers, outdated machines or equipment that you have to work with, like if your machine, your laptop is an older version, you're not given a newer laptop. So when you want to do work, you've got to you can go have coffee first before the laptop gets typing. Equipments which are outdated, unconducive workstations can also be causes of imbalance. All these causes of emotional imbalance in the organization will eventually lead to what? It will lead to productivity going down. It is dangerous for the company, and recovery time may take long. It can be ages before companies recover, and that will also hurt the workers and employees there. And we would not want that to happen, even though we are facing a pandemic at the moment now. Okay? If we do not want imbalance to happen, what do you think you need to do to make sure that emotional balance, EB, exists in the workplace? Because we know that it is dangerous not to have EB. How then do we achieve that? As difficult as it is, the first line there is clear strategic direction. As difficult as it is now, more so now actually, to provide clear strategic direction. What is the company doing? Where is it going? What is expected of its people? Clear direction must be there. However short a period of time, for probably 6 months, the management must know what is expected of its people and to communicate that to its people. Because without knowing it, it will not be a balanced workplace emotionally. Okay. Then staff, if you have already given them clear direction, you must also tell them what is expected of you. Clear instructions, what to do, describe their job scope well, determine what are the deliverables, and also targets. What are the KPIs? Well, some people do not like to hear the word KPI, so I will say targets as well. Okay. So if they do not know what to do, then it would not be harmonious and it would not be healthy environment. To ensure healthy and harmonious work environment, it is good to reduce also negative politics. Politics is there. Sometimes it is good, but reduce negative politics. With open communication, how do you do that? Open communication, inform, no hush-hush, no hush-hush, no bisik-bisik, nothing. Open communication, clear goals. Show employees you are there for them. Dr. Hida mentioned just now about eSPO, I think, did you? Well, it is a good effort where companies must show that they care for their employees. They are there for them, although in difficult times, and they want employees to work together with them to go towards a better future. And then employees also need, it's not only going to work, having a happy and dandy work environment, but Employees need good equipment, sufficient equipment, reliable equipment, and facilities to work better. Electronics should be modern enough to support all the software and work tools that they need. The factory should be equipped with clean tools. How do employees keep their equipment and tools clean? That must be there in their SOP. So all these aspects will eventually lead to a more conducive work environment, which will promote higher productivity, and employees will gain emotional balance because they are calm at the workplace, although it is chaotic, but they know where they need to go, how they need to, like in a fire drill. If there is a fire, people need to be calm. They know where to go, where to assemble. So same as a pandemic, this is also a crisis, right? So then when higher productivity is there, employees are emotionally balanced, and they have work satisfaction, the company will prosper. It is easier said than done, I understand that, because while you are trying to do all these things, companies are operating normally as we know it, striving for higher productivity, bidding for jobs, haggling with suppliers, chasing for payments, and etc. Suddenly, what comes? March 18th, 2020 comes, another bombshell, January 16, 2021. We are in lockdown. Malaysians, being a very emotionally stable people most of the time, suddenly say, are we in a war zone now? We are normally calm. Why suddenly lockdown? We cannot do a lot of things. We cannot go out. We cannot eat in mama. We cannot do anything. So is it that serious and deadly? Coronavirus hit Malaysia and the world in 2020, and a year later, we are now in a more severe situation, more severe battle to reduce the cases. We almost won, right? So the normal as we know it, it is not there anymore. It's not normal anymore. The new normal does not seem normal at all. So what is the new normal? What is it? It is full of upheavals, new rules. Nothing is the same in our lives. Masks, sanitizers, quarantine, working remotely. I don't have to do work. I can be at home. Is that true? I still get paid? People are all going crazy. So new rules. Apart from that, there's also new social rules. I cannot hug people anymore. I cannot shake their hands. I have to stay 1 meter apart. I have to reduce eating out. Introduction to Food Panda, Grab Food, whatever else. No handshakes, no hugs, no balik kampung. So new social rules, social distancing. We also have a new way of doing work. Wider reach for people, for companies. There is a wider reach for us, for companies to hire people. Logistics is not a problem anymore. Traffic jam is not a problem anymore. Commuting to work is not a problem anymore. So it has some plus points there. It is more technology enabled. We were getting used to the fourth industrial relations with machines and AI with Sophia and everybody else, Siri and everything. And what was it from Samsung is something. But then suddenly we are shoved into the fifth IR, where there is synergy between humans and machines. So this is like COVID brought that to us. COVID brought fifth IR to us. And then we also have working from home, remote offices. Organizations say, yeah, I can save on rental. You guys all work from home. It's okay, but we must touch base. Save on rental if it is a rented building. Is work from home here to stay? Is it a viable solution for everyone? This causes some concern, not only for employees, but also for employers. Why? Because suddenly you are thrown into a VUCA world, we call it. VUCA because of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So everyone is thrown into the VUCA world. Where? Is it volatile? Yes. We have new rules, right? So we are now challenging the status quo. There is fear whether we can adapt successfully. There is fear of not being able to make it. Am I okay? Can I adapt? Can I do well here? There's also uncertainty, new culture. The past cannot be used as a guide now. Normally we say, look back to better your way forward. Now looking back is totally different. There's new culture, more tech-based, more technology-based. Your boss can monitor you at home. You can be at home, but you're also at work. Fear of whether assessment is valid. Can he really see me working? Does he really know that I'm working? Can I take a rest in between, or should I not rest at all? Should I work round the clock? Where at the office, I actually have time to watch Netflix, okay? But at home, working from, I don't even have time to eat. So there is uncertainty now. What can we do? What we cannot do? Will it affect my pay? Work has become more complex because bosses and staff need to learn how to use new applications, new software, online meetings like this. A year into COVID-19 and lockdown, I am getting used to using Zoom because I am used to something else. I am used to Teams, I am used to Google Meet, but thank you very much. I am now used to Zoom as well. So will my laptop be sufficient? Can my camera work? Can they see me clearly? Do the bosses know I'm working? Are the staff working or relaxing? Bosses will ask, you are at home now, are you working or are you relaxing? So they have this skepticism. So I need to go to the office because I need to meet my colleagues. I need to meet my team. I feel socially isolated. I can go crazy. That is a complexity, right? Is there ambiguity? Of course. There's always ambiguity in an era like this. Where is our strategic direction? Is home office viable? How do we plan for the next 6 months? We don't even know whether we are going to be at home or at work, going to be physically in the office, or we are going to be working from home or working from anywhere. Should I invest in equipment at home? If I buy a workstation, then suddenly I need to go to the office. That is cost. How do I set targets? So of course there's ambiguity. So all these questions and unpredictable scenario causes emotional imbalance. So this is what we said earlier. This stresses.
There is one question from Murali Krishna. If you can take the question first. Murali,
yeah, sure, no problem. Hi, Murali.
Murali is from Kuwait, I believe. Yeah, Murali.
Okay.
So the question is, how can employers encourage employees to come out to discuss their mental health? Most of them don't acknowledge these mental health issues during this pandemic time, where most of us are working from home.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Murali. You want to know how do employers get employees to talk to them? In short, correct?
Yes.
Yes, because this is as a HR professional, HR practitioner, I would say that HR plays a very important role because there need to be a way that HR or the office reaches out to employees to see how they are. Encourage employees to use the digital platforms to discuss things. First and foremost, to me, once working from home has been established by the company, 30% of people work from home or whatever policy there is, alternate working from home and from the office, whatever the policies, companies need to ask employees, is there anything that you need? Because we have people, when work from home or digital classes or online classes, we have people who either the lecturers or the students or even the management, they do not have equipment at home. Have the company reached out to them to ask them whether, is there anything that you need? Is there anything that cannot be linked? You cannot be having meetings only through the phone sometimes. You need to present, you need a laptop. Do you have? How many people are sharing one phone? I was just reading in the newspaper the other day that there was a mom with 4 kids, preschool, primary, secondary, and also university. They only have one smartphone at home. How do you function? So this would cause imbalance. Emotionally, they would be imbalanced because they want to do a good job. Their kids need to go to school, but they don't have equipment. So can the company come up with an easy payment benefit, that kind of thing? So you reach out first. Is there anything that we need? Is there anything that you need that we can help with working from home? Clear policies. That's my take on it. If it is unclear, Murali can add on to what other things that I need to clarify.
Thank you, Dr. Anya. Before you proceed, Dr. Anya, there is from one of the participants saying that if possible, can you move the stop sharing to outside the screen? Is it possible to do at your end? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you
Please
for that.
proceed.
Okay. We were saying that all these questions in unpredictable scenario causes emotional imbalance. This imbalance will react negatively to productivity, right? This is a known fact, right? So how do you keep the balance? Like Murali asked, how do you know if your staff need assistance? They are not coming up, talk to you. Emotional balance needs the center guy. The head and the heart is balanced. If you only talk about the head, logical thinking, rationality, that is when staff do not want to go to you, because they probably think that you do not have the heart to understand, because you are probably, you don't understand that they are having difficulties. You wouldn't understand. However, if you go to the far right, when you are using only the heart, you will be taken for a ride. So emotional balance means both. This is where the company is concerned. For the staff also, they need to keep a rational mind as well. Not only feel that no one is helping me, this is a very difficult position, I can't stand this. So balance these two. Balancing these two needs assistance from outside as well, meaning from the company, and the company needs assistance from the staff. Okay, because this is like both employers and employees. What is important to survive in the VUCA world is that for the going concern of the business and sustainability of our livelihood. Encourage the employees to talk to us because it is their livelihood. We also need them for the going concern of the company, but we need them to be emotionally balanced for them to be able to assist the company go forward better. Okay, these are some of the things that can cause emotional imbalance for the employers and the management. In our last slide, we said that it is crucial for both employers and employees in decision making in this VUCA time. Right? So let's look at some pertinent challenges. First one is, most importantly, safety, of course, because this is a health crisis. This is a pandemic. We must ensure that it is contained and it doesn't spread. What is most important is that we need to have a guidelines for everyone concerned to be clear on how to act in a time like this. For example, University of Pennsylvania, they have a guidebook on what to do during a pandemic. It is given to everyone and it is ensured that it is being implemented and enforced. So there must be new policies to ensure future-proof practices. You must also ensure the guidelines are in place and implemented, because it should have been there like a year ago, so that people are still learning how to do it now, right? The next one is EB challenges. This is new work ethics. Social distancing. In the office, at home, does the company need to invest in face shields, sanitizers, and other safety requirements? Staff need to be educated and enforcement carried out to ensure what? To ensure safety and health taken care of. Distancing in the office, in the factory lines. We take it for granted actually when in the office, we take it for granted. We go to the pantry, you have coffee there, and then you come back to work in your workstations, and your friend will come to your workstation and just talk to you. But now this is totally new work ethics. So that needs some getting used to. So this is also a challenge at the office, because once a company or an office has any COVID cases, it will be shut down for them for at least 2 weeks. What will that leave them? So that's dangerous. So people do not want that to happen to them. So at the same time, with all these new work ethics, trying to take care of safety, you still have how do I survive? How do I stay competitive? Ensure customer satisfaction. Continue getting projects, orders. Even if the world is going crazy, you really want to make sure your company is still thriving. So this causes imbalance to the management, right? And then next to HR and tech, new tools and tech, workforce planning. Two crucial aspects of survival is that you must have workforce planning. How do you do remote monitoring? How do you ensure, Murali's questions again, how do you ensure staff are okay? How do you know that they are okay to working like that? Or are they facing problems? How do you reach out to them? Must ensure staff welfare and well-being. Like Murali said, how do we make sure they come to us to tell us that they have an issue with working from home? So we ask them. We can call them, are you okay? We reach out to them, because sometimes they don't reach out to us, right? And then change management is very important, because this is a huge change. These initiatives are all huge, and it is changing their life totally. It is unpredictable environment. Everyone must stay together. Everyone must work towards being together and succeeding in the VUCA world. Those are some of the challenges that I came across for employers, actually, because people always say that employers do not understand employees, but employees must also understand that employees are also being challenged, right? And then the next one is...
Ania, maybe we can take 2 questions here regarding the slide
Sure.
that you presented.
The one
This is
before?
from Nick Shahida. Yeah, Nick Shahida. You were saying that employers should approach first in ensuring the employee are having proper equipment for remote working. Is there a good way on how employee can raise their concern first? If the employer is not asking the employee, now employee is forward the issues to the employer. What do you think?
Okay, yeah. Later in the presentation, we have a survey done by Catalyst in the States. This was exactly what happened when the employers seem not to understand what the employees are going through. They are not even trying. There are employees like that, and there are also employers who really ask them, call the employees and say, "Are you okay with working from home?" Like one of the companies that I used to work with. They are trying. Their principle is not to have layoffs, not to cut wages, but to work together. So they ensure that, okay, they have employees who they are pregnant, and then one of the people got infected with COVID-19. So then the whole office was being sanitized. So the lady who was the lady who is pregnant, the lady who is pregnant now. The boss asked her, "You work from home totally until everything calms down," because this is 2 lives we're talking about. So employers should be aware and conscious of what are these people facing. For example, this is in the military, and also the wife is a civilian, the husband is in a military, but both bosses are very good. They have 2 young kids. So the boss said, "Okay, where is your wife working?" So the husband said, "She's working in an office here." And then, okay, arrange it with her boss as well, so that the 2 bosses arrange so that each one of them work alternate days.
Oh, that's good.
So like, because the kids cannot go to daycare.
Yeah, daycare is closed.
Daycare is closed. Schools are closed, so they have to work from home. The kids have to work from home, and mom or dad must be there because they don't have a maid. These are things that you know, HR would know, if especially if it's a small company. If you have like 10,000 people, then each head of department must play their role. Each supervisor must play their role. For example, we have a situation where when I was in UiTM, we had a transfer. Recently, we had a transfer from one of the staff to go to East Malaysia. The husband
Sabah or
is
Sarawak, is it?
Sabah or Sarawak, yes. The husband is working in a private university. So the university was so kind. It's okay, we don't want to lose you. We will arrange. This is just before COVID. We will arrange for you to have online classes. So they were prepared. They were prepared to offer online working, remote working systems for the employees because they want to keep the employees. So this is showing understanding. So if like for staff, I have a friend who is using her ironing board as her workstation because she lives in a studio. It's a small studio, and she uses her ironing board. So she told the company, "Excuse me, can I have some investment fund here for me to actually invest in a workstation? I can't be working from my ironing board." So you approach, do they have this easy payment? Normally they will have easy payment. Probably they wouldn't give you money just free of charge because they also don't have profits and revenues now. But come up with, this is when HR plays a very important role to facilitate. HR normally, in my experience, HR has the tendency and the reputation to not understand people. Later, I will share with you what my boss will remind me over and over again on how HR should facilitate, should understand, and also try to make sure people are being well taken care of, their welfare and their health and safety. That's my take on it.
Thank you. We have some other questions, but perhaps towards a later session then. Over to you,
All right.
Tanya.
Okay, now we are on the boat now, trying to survive COVID. Okay, so now companies, employers, CEOs must come up with new way forward. The old ones cannot use anymore, and strategic plans. First, of course, what will they do? If they are faced with chaos, they feel they need to work all the time. Okay, what do they do now? So they must review their capex. Their capital expenditure must be reviewed. I don't need to expand on my building. I probably can do without new machinery sometimes. Expansion is probably a no-no. So review capital expenditure. They need also to review their OPEX, their operating expenditure. What are the necessities? How do I minimize cash burns? What can the company do without currently until things are more stable? So in-house or subcontract out. These are all the decisions that companies need to make in their new way forward. Review R&D expenses. Normally R&D expenses, they go everywhere from benchmarking and whatnot, but then review that. Realign business direction because this is a new way forward. Next one, reduce overheads, definitely. We don't want to reduce headcounts, so what do we do? Probably no new hires, unless very necessary. Focus on retraining, focus on multitasking, more contractual appointments, limit promotion because we need to be lean and mean, limit promotion because we're saving on our revenues and cost effective. Benefits. Normally bosses fly first class, business class. So that would be the first few aspects to be reviewed. Traveling benefits, of course. Bonuses, because we are trying here not to cut pay. So bonuses can be reviewed. Because we don't want to cut everything. Most importantly, decisions and considerations should be to ensure what? To ensure the company keeps on going. It's sustainable. Weather the storm together. So the main focus is to balance in the company so that people need not be laid off. We don't want to lay off people, although these are difficult times, but we want to be understanding enough to make sure we take the middle road. These are for employers, okay? They have a whole lot of challenges actually to get the balance here. For employees now, this is not exhaustive, yeah? This is the more pertinent ones, okay? Employees are what? They are faced with chaos. They feel they need to work all the time. This is different from what employers normally see employees when they work from home. Employees say that employees are normally playing truant, which is actually not true, because in a digital career, they feel that they need to work around the clock. They feel that because like you are thinking about work all the time. Like Mr. Sugut, our host, was just saying just now before our session that they probably, normally in a day, you probably have 2 meetings in a day. But when it's remote working, you suddenly have 4 meetings in a day. And the notice is like 1 hour before. So this is actually what's happening in every other company as well. They feel that they need to work all the time. No fixed working hours, which is a challenge actually. It hurts your balance. They should, because they feel they need to produce results, because they feel they are being monitored all the time. It's like a camera there all the time. Do bosses know that they are working? Do you know that I'm working? Or you can't see me, I'm not at the office. So do you know, at the office, I can sit down at my workstation and not do work, but you see I'm doing work. So this is different, right? So they are also worried that they can be out of a job if the company decides to reduce people. So that there is a fear there. This will cause emotional imbalance as well. And then now more contractual positions. I cannot get a full-time job permanent. No, it's only contract. So that's the way people are going towards now. So KPIs and targets are more demanding as companies are trying to strive to recover financially after the COVID incident, right? And then can work and life or family integrate? Can it? Spouse working, you have, this is your house. You can have a big bungalow, you can have whatever, a small studio, you can have an apartment. But your spouse is working from home, your kindergarten kids are at home, school kids are online learning, university students also at home. You must make way for multiple workstations. Do you have the capability? Can the internet connection sustain that? All this must be thought of. Like I was saying, my friend was working on her workstation using the ironing boards. So that is a true thing actually. And then is the home a conducive work environment? I was interviewing one of the KSU recently. Suddenly my cat came up at the desk. So it was Datuk Sri Zaini Ujang. Datuk Sri Zaini said, "Oh, very nice cat you have there, but it is disruptive." Okay, so those are the things that you need to balance and challenging to you in a work from home situation. So everyone, how do you ensure productivity and also stay focused at the same time? Because you have constant distractions. Obviously, you suddenly have the FedEx coming for some online purchases that you have, or you have interruptions as well. The kitchen is open all the time. You know, it's not only lunch and dinner now. It's like it's open all the time. People go into the kitchen and just have food. So it's disruption. So at home, sometimes people feel lost as well. They don't have a support system. Normally, if they have a problem or they have a grievance with the boss, they just go to their coworker. Excuse me, I need some time with you. Just let me sit here for a while. You can do that, right? But at home, you feel lost. No interaction. Discussion with teams, like you normally do, is now on this thing, online thing. So you feel social isolation is very real. Okay. this is the survey that I was saying. I'm sure KPMG or EY in Malaysia has also done these surveys before for the COVID thing. But these are some of the challenges that people feel when they work from home. We have discussed most of this already. Some of it is to continue to work and to care for children at home. Some need to hire a tutor because they can't work and also take care of kids' homework at the same time. Ma, how do I do this? I don't know how to do this. The ma is having a meeting. So how? Some just quit job. So those are things that people have found out when they do survey on challenges of working from home. This is
Dr.
like,
Anya, maybe before we go to the slide, we would like you to answer a few questions from the participant, which
okay,
is related to what you have presented.
no
This
problem.
is from one of the attendees. There is no name, anonymous here. The question
Okay.
is how to inform or manage employers that they demand during the non-working hours. So since employees are working from home, employers tend to forget about the working hours. What do you say about this?
Okay, we will get to that in a few more slides.
I see. One more then.
Yes.
This is from Hafiz. As an employee, how do we have work-life balance between both work and also life at home during the pandemic?
The two questions are related actually,
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm.
right? So we will get to how employees get their emotional balance,
Mm-hmm.
inshallah. After the slide, if there are questions related to that or need more detailed explanation, please do um, just throw your question up to me.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay. So this is Catalyst. They also did a survey on how employees perceive um, whether the employers understand them or support them. Some companies have plans to support in the event of a prolonged MCO. Companies do that. Some big companies or even smaller ones, they are more understanding. Like in Malaysia, where like we were discussing earlier on, they have alternate working days. They have like a 3-day work from office and a 2-day work from home. So they have this kind of alternative. Some I cannot remember which company now. But one company, they opened a daycare uh, specifically for people who really need to go to the office. They discourage people working in the office, but if you really need to come in for a few hours, you can bring your child with you. And there is a daycare service there, and it is fully protected, and social distancing and everything, all SOP taken care of, which is I thought was good. And then, but some companies really do not seem aware that this is happening. They still demand the same thing, like the question earlier. They don't seem to care. They do not know even that they are facing challenges. So this lack of support causes frustration and really leads to emotional imbalance. So this is where HR really need to touch base and go look for what are the issues and challenges that employees are facing. Because you are the human resource department. You need to convince your bosses that this is important. We were discussing earlier just now that it is more costly to train new hire rather than to ensure what we have now is really taken care of, especially in this time. So to me, my take is that HR needs to really do their thing here. Okay, we were talking about emotional imbalance and what causes it. So this is how. This is from readings, from experience and talking to people. Yeah, create a schedule for you because if not, both ways, for your employers and also for you, you will go crazy if you do not create a schedule because you will feel that you are at home, you need to all the time work. Like 1 hour's notice, 10 minutes notice, you have a presentation, you have a meeting. So create a schedule. What are the work hours during working from home? The University of Pennsylvania guidebook that I was saying earlier on, they have in that guidebook what are the working hours. When are employees expected to work? How many hours? It does not need to be like 8 to 5. No, it's probably like 2 hours in the morning. That is specific for meetings, for example. And then you have to make sure emails are looked at like you are in the office. Emails are looked at least 2 days. Those are some of the guides that's written in the University of Pennsylvania guidebook. So you have to create a schedule for work hours, meetings, emails, phone calls, rest, and family time. Because bosses, when they are at home, they feel that I can call you at 10 p.m. at night and talk about work and not feel guilty about it, which is not right. And they must be educated as well. I think NPC will do a good job if they try to educate employees. Okay. The second one, once you have created a schedule, this must be agreed upon by the head of department and also your family members. Mom or dad has to work this time to this time. No disturbances. You want to watch cartoon, you have to watch on another device, not on my iPad, not on my laptop, for example. So this must be agreed upon because and you must also understand that the kids are also having their online classes. So it must be juggled. So the schedule must be there so that people know when to go where in the house especially and also for bosses. The schedule works for me in terms of chaos like this. And then determine what workstation and equipment that you need. For example, I am currently not at my workstation because I'm at home. I am currently at my dinner table. So one corner of it is my workstation for now, but there is a space where I can keep everything after I finish work. So what is your workstation and what equipment are needed? Some people, they need a camera. They need a real life DSLR camera, for example, for their work. So those things must be arranged and ready. If needed, support must come from the office. For example, my daughter was doing her internship 2 months late last year. She has a laptop by herself, but all the software is in the office laptop. So they wrote a letter to say that she can bring her laptop home for her to do work. So that can be arranged so that she has a proper machine to work with. Next, discipline. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very difficult to promote discipline when you are at home because you are playing your family roles and also playing your corporate roles at the same time. We were saying that it's difficult to integrate those two, right? But with discipline, you should be able to separate that. When am I dad or mom, brother or sister, and when am I the staff or the head of department? So discipline is important because you already created a schedule. So if and the schedule is agreed upon with your office as well. So it is not a crime to not be able to answer the phone unless it's an emergency. For example, you are standing by. We were working before a long time ago when New Zealand had the crisis of where our students were there in New Zealand, and with the earthquake. So it was a crisis for us because our scholars were there. So the students need to be able to touch base with us to say what's happening and to tell their family and whatnot, and what help can we here in Malaysia offer to them so that they are better. And the same thing went for Japan when they had the earthquake as well. So in terms of emergency, that's something else. When you are really trying to bid for a job, for example, then probably you need to work extended hours. But normally, discipline works. Separate corporate and family roles. Next one, you are not Superman or Wonder Woman. Please seek assistance if needed, but every time ensure safety and health because this is a pandemic. right? Use digital platform to interact with people because that will keep you going actually during your work hours. So I will stop there for the moment in case there are still questions on this.
Yeah,
Dr.
Dr.
Ida, if it's
Anya,
okay.
this is not a question, I believe, but a sharing by Muhammad
Okay,
Hafiz Ismail.
all right.
So he said, sometimes when staying at home, there is a tendency of not doing anything as well, instead of thinking of work all the time.
Yeah, correct. This is
Mm.
the syndrome of watching YouTube exercise videos and be on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you feel so motivated. Wow, this guy is so good. You see his biceps are all there, his triceps are all there. I'm on the couch.
Mm.
So yeah, exactly. That is, but with the discipline, with the schedule, you need to keep yourself out from the couch because you need to
Okay.
report. Okay, on this note, do you know that companies have, there are about, from what I know, from what I have read, there are about more than 10 softwares that companies can use to subtly ensure that KPIs and targets are met. They know if it is put in your workstation, companies will know how long you spend on the project that you're working on now. If you have 2 or 3 projects, how long you're working on each project. If they want to check, they have that ability to check. How long were you on Facebook? How long were you on another platform or another app? How long was your laptop idle? No touching, nothing, no changing of screen and whatnot. So they have this software, so they don't have to breathe down your neck all the time. You can feel stifled, can? But if this happens, then you don't want to be on the couch too long because some people may get the promotion you won't get even if it's MCO.
Okay. This is another question from one of the attendees, anonymous. How to inform and manage the co-workers to respond to the work together? Sometimes our issues is with the co-workers.
Meaning in your team, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who are together in your team have a Google Meet. Would normally have a Google Meet or a Zoom meeting. Um, you have a what? We have all kinds of digital platforms now. Even if you have like a report to finish with your teammates, for example, you have a report to, you can use Google Docs where everybody can put their input in only one document so that you don't have to be so bogged down with like, okay, I'm updating from A, I'm updating from B, C, and D. Like everybody can update their own from Google Docs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in the fourth IR, the world has been prepared for this kind of work. With the COVID, the fifth IR came in already, where you are more comfortable with working remotely, apart from not having social interactions,
Mm-hmm.
which you can put inside your schedule anyway, because people can't go to your house anyway. So like, if you're on Twitter or whatever, you have social interactions remotely. So it needs nudging for people. Some people, they do not know how to use Google Docs, although it was a quite basic thing when, especially for students, university students, Google Docs is probably the thing for you to go do your report, right? If you're in a group work. But some people are uncomfortable doing it. But getting used to it, and probably bosses must make it a point that Google Docs is the way to go. If something is new, then it must be a directive first before it becomes a habit and a culture. If there is no directive, no one asked me to use Google Docs, or no one asked me to meet periodically, like every other day for our project. So there must be a directive first, because this is
Mm-hmm.
a new culture.
Let me take another 2 questions before you proceed, Dr. Tanya.
All right.
Okay, this is from Murali. How can the HR department convince the CEO to allocate more funds to cater to the well-being of the employees due to the pandemic in this case, because the organization are cash strapped and they also
Mhm.
need to prioritize between digital transformation and also human resource. What is your
Okay.
opinion?
In this case, Murali, you are saying about the office not providing support in terms of what? Buying
To
workstation?
allocate more funds, because now during the pandemic perhaps funds can be an issue. So how do the HR department convince the CEO to allocate more funds to cater for the well-being of the employees?
It would depend on what funds the company needs to address. For example, what does the data show? That the people cannot work because of lack of XYZ, or the people are having a meltdown because of XYZ. Because if you want to convince, I have set in a budget. I have sat in a budget meeting of one company in Malaysia, and it actually shocked me because
Mm,
coming from a government background, I have never seen people so serious about getting funds and work so hard to convince the management that the funds are needed. So if you put your case right with data, um, and you show them that if you do not give me these funds, the company is going down the drain. How is going down the drain? You show them. Seriously, that was the first time I went into a budget meeting in a company, and it really, wow, I would give them everything that I have with what they are presenting, because they really showed that they really warrant the funds. You don't give it to me, to my department, this is going down the drain. And it is so real. The company cannot not give. So do you have that data? Because to get
mm,
funds, especially now, like Dr. Ida was saying, especially now when funds are very scarce, you really need to convince your top management, HR, we need this. HR is very, very important because you want to make sure your staff are not going crazy. So what data do you have to support your requirement? What data do you have to support your need for funds? No one is going to give you funds, definitely, right?
mhm.
So that's my take on it. Support with data and real life situations.
Mhm. Okay,
Hopefully not suicidal.
one last question before you continue. This is from Raizuddin Muhammad Rosmi.
Hi.
So he said that this question may be out of topic a little bit, but he want to know what kind of training can HR do for the staff to improve their attitude and emotion during this pandemic, for staff that are needed to work at the workplace, things like that. What kind of training perhaps Dr. Anya would be suitable?
Um, for training, we need to understand what is lacking. Go down to the root cause. For example, we have come across situations where people are not working. I am not doing this, I won't do it. The staff was saying that to the supervisor. If you don't do this, you will be retrenched. You do it because I won't be doing it. But please go down to the root. That is the symptom that is coming out.
Mm,
Why is it that this guy is not doing work? Why is it that he cannot do work? What is his problem? And in actual fact, we found out that actually this guy cannot read. He went through until form 3, right? PMR, right?
mm-hmm,
Or whatever the thing now, can.
mm-hmm,
My time was like PM. So he cannot read. He cannot read ABC. He cannot form sentences. So he is a delivery boy. So he couldn't deliver because he doesn't know where to go. So if you retrench him, he will be worse off, kan? So what we did was, we told the supervisor, arrange for somebody on rotational basis to work with him at least 1 hour a day on his alphabets
I
and,
see.
and, and, and reading, because he couldn't read. So after a month, we checked back. How is he reading? How is this guy doing? So he can what they did was they did a list of all the FAQ, the frequently sent letters or whatever, wherever they need to go, the locations. So the frequently listed locations, they taught him how to read that first. Then he learned how to read, and then he became more confident. And he is such a happy guy now. Because you do not know what's the problem actually if you don't dig down inside. That's HR's job.
Yeah. To go deeper into what is the real issues, yeah?
Really understand. These are symptoms coming out. I don't want to work. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. I refuse to do. I only want my phone. That's all. That kind of thing.
Okay, thank you. Please proceed, Dr. Anya.
Okay. These are famous words, to me, especially as a HR practitioner. Eleanor Roosevelt once said that to handle yourself, use your head. To handle others, use your heart. Because as HR, my boss used to remind me, Anya, to work with machines and processes, use your head. To work with people, use your heart. I would like to share with you, if audiences who are from UiTM can relate to this actually. UiTM is a university in Malaysia that has branches all over the country. We have like about 35 campuses throughout the nation. Can you imagine, Dr. Ida especially, can you imagine how do we place lecturers in all the 35 campuses? How do you ask, because for example, if campus A in state B is being closed, a particular program is being closed, where can you transfer the lecturers? There is no more course or program to teach in campus A in state B. You can only go to another state, right?
Yeah.
So if the campus is in Perak, for example, how do you transfer the person to even Penang for that matter? It is a total uproot of the family.
Yeah.
Not
it can be
everyone
a
will do
tug
that.
of war between the employee and employer then.
Yes. As HR, we have had people who are saying, Anya, I am putting up my tent in front of your office until you pull back the letter of transfer. How do you do that? As HR, handle it with your heart. You must understand this is their life. If you were asked to just uproot yourself by go to Sarawak, you are from Semenanjung, or people from Sarawak for that matter, go to Shah Alam, people will go crazy. So that is why in HR, please make sure your heart is in place. So also now for people who are facing the pandemic and at the office, please understand that people have these challenges and make sure emotional balance is there and try your very best. So how do you make sure your heart is in place and emotionally balanced when you make your decision to ensure employees are emotionally balanced as well? We have about 10 here that I am sharing with you. First, ensure clear direction. This is a tall order because this is like crazy times. But anyway, you need to have at least some clear directions for 3 months, 6 months, and whatever that you can manage. Because this is the new normal. Everybody is blank. So they look to the management to show them the way. Right? And employers may need to invest in technology. Make sure you really need to invest in technology for KPI and productivity monitoring. If not, it is not the problem of your staff not working, although we may have some days where we want to be on the couch, but it is for you not to unjustly assess them, assess your people, because they are working. So you must have this kind of KPI monitoring or productivity monitoring, which is very objective. So be ready to invest in that. If you do not have some Like SAP, some offices, they already have this already anyway, right? So if you don't have, especially for small offices, there are software open source which are free. So you can do that. Like I cannot remember, it's Time Doctor or something, My Doctor or Time Doctor, something like that. So it is open shelf. And employers and HR must ensure staff ask your staff, for example, okay, A, B, C, and D, this week you only work at the office from Wednesday and Thursday. That's all. The other days you're working from home. Do you have a work office at home? Do you have a table? Do you have internet lines? Just ask, because you're already telling them to work from home anyway. So ask them what do they have and what do they not have. So make sure infrastructure and infrastructure are adequate for staff to perform their tasks and duties. You cannot not have a laptop. You cannot only use your smartphone if you need to type reports. It will be a very slow process. You cannot not have you cannot not have internet connection, because you need to be with your VPN. You need to be connected to work. So these are important. And then provide the mechanisms to ascertain safety and health of staff and the protection of confidential information. That is important, because they are taking way out from your office. So you have information that are confidential, because like some offices, like the land office in Malaysia, they don't allow their staff to take anything home which is from the database or from the system in the office. So they can only do work which is not connected to the office system, because it is confidential. So each organization will have their own policies and their own rules and regulations to ensure work gets done in its correct way. Next one, encourage staff to use online platforms, because there are multiple online platforms that people can use to be connected to their co-workers and team members. If we had a problem earlier on, if the co-workers are refusing to be connected via any online platforms, why? Do they not have connection? Like, remember, it may be a symptom. We shouldn't be, hopefully we try not to be judgmental. Sometimes, yeah, I feel like I want to strangle you. Why are you making life so difficult for me? Yeah, sometimes. But some people are just put there on earth to do that, so that you grow better. I think so. So try to use online platforms, encourage them to use online platform. If they do not want to, why? There must be a why. Okay. And HR, as a practitioner, HR needs to keep very close contact with staff to ensure the link with office is more tangible for staff. They don't even see the office, they don't see the building, they don't see you. Sometimes I do not know whether I belong to the company or not. So keep close contact with them. Just randomly ask them, are you okay? Write a WhatsApp or in the group, or use the platform. Let's meet today. Let's have a discussion on whatever topic to see how you guys are doing, that kind of thing. If staff is required at the office, yeah, sometimes staff need to come to the office, right? So employers must provide a guarantee, because when staff comes to the office, it is not only the staff's health is at stake, but those in the office and those at home, and those in the office family as well. So please take extra precaution and try to guarantee that this is workable. They really need to come. Because we have hit an all-time high yesterday or today. And then next, agree upon a work schedule. We talked earlier about schedule for staff to get used to working hours at home. You know that, okay, it's probably not 8:30, it's probably 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock to 12 is probably the time when you need to touch base, for example. We only have meetings, like 45 minutes meetings, after lunch probably 2 to 3, that's all, the meeting, just to touch base and see that everybody is going on as it should. So, but not like at 10 o'clock, let's have a short meeting at 10 p.m. Come on. It's not, you probably don't do that in the office as well. So it's the same thing, right? and then discuss and decide mutually on KPIs. Please use your empathy in asking them to keep it. Don't go over stringent or overboard, because be mindful of the chaotic situation comprehensively. It's a helicopter view. They not only not go to work, but they have everything else at home, which is there with them when they do work at home. So that is what I have on trying to have emotional balance at the workplace for staff. How do you do that? After we have said about all kinds of challenges for employers, challenges for employees, how we should try to balance that to make sure emotional balance is there. Both bosses and staff, they have challenges towards emotional balance. So some takeaways that I would like to leave you guys with is that company, especially the HR and management, show some empathy and support. Show understanding and concern for the challenges that staff are facing. If you show concern, for example, if a person has a problem, you only need to show a concerned face to that person for that person to open up to you, right, in real life, not in an office situation. Like a person comes to you, your friend or your acquaintance or your co-worker or your colleague comes to you with a sad face or a worried face. You just need to say, are you okay today? Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, but you don't look well. Everything will come out. So HR, show some support and empathy. You would get to know what is the problem bugging the person. So it goes a long way. A little bit of understanding goes a long way, right? On the other hand, this is about HR and employers, right? On the other hand, the staff must also show commitment and discipline. This is not fine and dandy and you have fun at home and go and shop and whatever. No, this is still work commitment, and you need to really give commitment at the workplace because you need to strive together. You want to go on working, right? For you to go on working, the company needs to make some revenue. For the company to make some revenue, you really need to be committed to your work. So you must have work discipline and try your level best to fulfill targets. If you cannot, then why look for assistance? Like I said earlier, you are not Superman or Wonder Woman. So look for assistance. Then I've been saying this throughout the presentation, have clear direction and action. Because if the top management cannot show some form of direction to people, this will not work because it is already chaotic outside. The VUCA is everywhere. So at least in the office, show some semblance of calm. Okay, this time we are not getting work from Bangladesh, for example. We are not getting work from Iran, for example, but we are focusing on this now. So guys, we have how many teams? So show some direction. Take specific action for staff to have confidence and trust in you. Oh, okay, we are okay because we don't have orders from here, but we have orders from other places. So show that they can have confidence in you. Okay. This is lastly, but not that it is not important. It is important, especially now when it is remote working. Technology and system support. New work patterns and demands require excellent technology and system support. Because you are working remotely, the support must be there of technology. Companies can, like I said earlier, companies can invest in softwares, in apps for remote monitoring, and also to ensure that people are more comfortable with the environment once they have all the equipment ready with them. I have my final slide now. Please bear in mind that this is from my heart. The journey may be long, it may be challenging, but there is no turning back. You can only go forward. So we can do it and do it well. Everybody must work together. The synergy we were talking about just now. I'll leave you with that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Dr. Ida, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ania. I mean, while I'm listening, actually, I'm reflecting myself, because I'm also working from home. Really, I have to reflect so many things. Okay, before I go to the question, there is a raised hand here by Maslifa Masmuda. May I ask Maslifa, you raise your hand. Would you like to ask question? Or perhaps it is a mistake, something? Calling for Maslifa, do you have any question? Okay, maybe not. So I will go to the Q&A chat box over here. This is from one of the attendee. He gave a situation. The company now not hiring, as
Okay.
you suggested, while existing employees have to multitask and they
Okay.
can be a burnout. So no extra perks given. This happens especially there is a lack of communication from the management or weak HR advisors. So company will lose talent and now, but slowly if this continue, what will happen, doctor? What do you think will happen if this continues?
Okay. From the beginning of the question, what the person wants to know is that um, retraining and multitasking. So this is causing burnout. That is the
Yeah,
issue,
and no
right?
extra perks given.
No extra perks. Okay.
No lack
Um,
of communication from the management, or perhaps in this case weak HR
that
advice.
must be addressed actually. Um, that must be addressed by the management. The management must address that. Can the staff not talk to the management, not to the HR, to the management? Is there a way? If there is a way to talk to the management, because in one of the slides, I was talking about having clear direction, but also having a clear job scope. You must know what is it that you are in for, what is it that is expected of you. Um, Burnout as in too much work, overload of work, or lack of knowledge of that work. Because uh, is it like everyday work? Is it like you're doing it every day you're being burnt out, or is this project based? There is a difference. Because project based, of course, when the project is running, you are going to be burnt out because you want the project to finish on time for project management, right? But if it is an everyday thing, um, are you doing work which is unnecessary? Um, yeah, you said weak HR. Because in HR, what we would normally do is that we would look at what are the job scope of each person and to see whether it is balanced or not, technically. As balanced as can be, because some people have more talents than others. Some people have a slower way of doing work. So we balance that to make sure that work is being sort of equally divided with the same level of people. No hires, definitely no hires, but they can hire people who are on contract basis to work online if it is not confidential. So burnout, look at what is causing the burnout. Is it work that is not done effectively? For example, can you do it not manually? Can you do it automatically, like on automation, but you are doing it manually? Is that causing the burnout? Is it the amount of workload? What is critical? What is not critical? That needs more research on, because on hindsight like this, I wouldn't be able to say whether the burnout is caused by workload per se, the person is not being well equipped, or the job is not being well divided, or the system is not supporting the job. So there are multiple ways of looking at things. Multitasking is a must now, but as there is no turning back. Multitasking, you have to multitask, but multitasking doesn't mean you go crazy. Multitasking is a word that can be used not to multitask actually. It is used to, when you say multitask, you're probably dumping work to your subordinate. It can be multitask as well. You have to multitask, but actually I'm just giving you my job, which is not right. So it has to be looked at more critically, in my opinion, for me to be able to say what will happen to the company. It is challenging for the company because if you don't have people, you don't have a company. So if they want it, they want that to happen, they're going on the right track actually.
Yeah. Thank you,
From
Dr.
from the
Anya.
question, from that
Mm-mm.
question.
Just to respond a little bit, although many of us are saying that at this pandemic COVID-19 situation, many companies closed down or reducing the job, and this caused something like the profit has reduced and so on. But I just would like to bring attention to another sector in the economy in which they are booming at this time,
Yeah.
especially which is related to technology, related
Yes.
to healthcare services, producing PPE, glove, and so on, right?
Yeah.
Uh, of course, sports, we cannot do sports, but the e-sports sector is mushrooming right
Yes.
now. I was
Uh,
told that they received 6 months bonus last year
yes.
who work
Yes.
in the
Yes. Yes.
e-sport or
Yes.
this, how do I say, glove related
Correct.
industry. So, of course, there are many
Correct.
industries are affected, but at the same time, there are many industries are actually
Yes.
opening up. They said, please come, we are expanding our
Yeah. Yeah.
factory and so on.
There's always two sides of the coin. We
Yes.
have a friend who was retrenched from work recently, and she went into this. I don't know if you're familiar with this. The pre-loved clothing.
Pre-love clothing,
Pre-loved
yeah,
clothing.
second hand
Second,
basically.
yeah. But because she is of a generation where she is like in her 40s. So she is not familiar with the trends of the youngsters now. Because probably people of her generation, they wouldn't wear pre-love so much. They wouldn't go for pre-love so much. But because they're not very trendy, and then if they're trendy, they don't go for pre-love. But of the younger generation, they go for this kind of pre-love because it is well preserved. The pre-love that she's selling is still in good quality. She used to have a shop after she was retrenched from her office. She used to have a small shop, but now that she cannot open her shop, she went into online business. So there she is now doing better than when she had a shop
Wow, that's
because
good.
her outreach is better.
So
So
that is always a opportunity out there, right?
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
knock on the right door.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I would like to invite Puan Maslifa. You are now. You can unmute your microphone if you want to ask question. Puan Maslifa. Maybe there is no signal there. Okay, come back to Puan Maslifa. There is a question here from Rosli Zainun. Dr. Anya, can you comment on the religious role and aspects to enhance work-life balance during MCO time?
Okay. Religious roles, huh? Okay. Like I say, HR, they wear many hats. Okay. When you say religious roles, what do you mean? Are you saying that can religion be used as a medium for us to get emotional balance?
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
Because even in non-pandemic times, when people are having depression, for example, or people are having hysteria, for example. There is an experience that I would like to share here. We had a situation where one of our co-workers was having hysteria. Um, she was shouting, and she was on the floor, and she was shouting. By no means we are not ustazah or ustaz, okay? So we didn't know what to do. We already read the Fatihah. Somebody was there at the corner reading the Yasin and everything, but she was still shouting. So suddenly one of our friends said, from what I understand, this is like from shaitan, right? It's causing this hysteria. So the devil is at work here. So what do the devils want? The devils, they want attention. Don't give her any attention. We just keep quiet and ignore her. And she kept quiet.
I see. So
So
it works.
it was. So religion understand, uh, get strength from religion because everything in our life as a Muslim, we know that God wills it. So, and He knows best. What you need to do is just do not forget Him. Although you are having a lot of challenges, emotional challenges, or even work challenges, or financial challenges, or even family challenges, never forget God. Definitely, religion is a salvation. On top of these humans that God has sent to us, as in bosses, that kind of thing, HR managers and whatnot. So religion definitely is a salvation for us. Never doubt that, inshallah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anya. This is a question from Muhammad Muzaffar Abdul Hamid. The question is, how to manage effectively between assignment given by bosses with short deadline and solving family matters when working from home?
Okay. Short deadline as in I give it to you 8 o'clock in the morning, I want it at 4:30 in the afternoon. That can be a short deadline. What can you give? Remember you have your schedule. You have your schedule. Your kids must also understand that schedule. Working from home doesn't mean that 24/7 you are a family man or a family mom. No. Working from home means you have time for work, you have time for family. Like you normally do if you have an office or in the office. So if to you it is a very short deadline and there is no way for a normal human being to be able to complete that assignment on time that was given, can you provide your boss with periodic progress of the assignment? You tell him upfront with the time frame that you have given me, I can do A, B, C. However, for DEF, I can only give you an outline. I cannot give it to you fully yet because I am still working on it. I will still be working on it because do never say family problem to bosses. They exist without family as well. Like they don't have a mom and a dad. So that's bosses. I always remind myself that as well. So just tell the boss, I can do this and this and this up to here. I can give you an outline of what I have not finished, but I will tell you that I will try to finish it when you can try to finish it. But don't give crazy deadlines to yourself as well. I'm like, right.
Mm-hmm. And one attendee is asking, just curious how HR to manage their own emotional balance as HR employees or HR officers here, because they have to take care or understand the other employee and also the employer.
The
I mean,
question that you
you are
asked,
the person, Dr. Anya, for many years in the HR department. How do you manage your own feelings actually?
okay, before I go to my own experience, I would like to, this question we would normally ask to masseuse, right? Tukang urut. To masseuse, we ask them, if you are having pain in your body, how do you massage yourself? Right. So for HR, we do not, myself, where I'm concerned, we handle all kinds of confidential information. We handle all kind of embarrassing information of people. For example, you know a friend, you have a friend. I have a friend and I know the innermost secret of her that she wouldn't want anybody on earth to know. Because as HR, the reports come to us. How do I look her in her eye and not have any thoughts? Train, don't take it personally. This is the person you know. That information belongs to the person who is working for the department, not your friend. So because it is very important for us to keep that in mind. And if you will get bashed, HR people, HR in the audience, I'm sure you can relate to this. HR will be the bashing point because top management will not be the bashing point. Right. Although we are the implementers of policies, we are not the policy makers. HR, remember that we are not policy makers, we are implementers of policies. But we get bashed because we are the ones who are informing people of whatever yes or no, do it or don't do it. Do not take it personally. The person you get bashed by your top management and also your subordinate and also your clients actually. do not take it personally because that is your job.
Yeah.
Uh,
The
it
HR department is sandwich, yeah, Dr. Anya? They
yeah,
are sandwich.
sandwich and you get best top, center, left, right, bottom. So that makes life interesting. I never regretted going into HR because it was interesting, and the main thing is always remember, my mantra is that I am there to facilitate. I am not there to judge. I am not there to make sure everything is right. What I am there is to facilitate. Sometimes I really need to give the bad news. We used to have we had an incident where um, this is not a very nice story, but I would like to share. Um, one person in our organization passed away. So we have this sort of system where we give funding for people, for our employees who pass away. We call khairat kematian. Um, on the day that we wanted to give out the funds to the widow, another person came to say that I am also the wife.
Oops.
Uh, so as the HR uh, head there, you handle two situations where a husband has passed away. So it is a very sad situation, but we must handle it according to our data. Empathy, not sympathy. We understand the challenges, but this is what we have. So we have no right to give it to people who are not registered, whoever you say you are. So that's HR. Facilitate, have a heart, but we must also be firm.
Mm.
Inshallah.
That's not easy, yeah, Dr. Anya, to play that role in the HR.
But interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there is another question from Raleigh. What are the strategies HR has to adopt for resistance to change, especially during this pandemic time? Any strategy for HR
To
to
me,
handle this resistance to change during this pandemic?
resistance to change is definitely going to be there. Um, I would suggest that there is a change management initiative. Although change management is a cliche people use and do not carry out properly, then it will backfire. Take it small steps. You have the whole process already in the organization. You have the guidelines, but have people call town halls nowadays. Have an open communication channel. People must know why you are doing it, and they want to know that you are doing it for their own good, not for the company to have more in their pocket and not in the staff pocket. So they must understand why you're doing it. Small steps, and we normally in an organization we normally tackle the unions first, because unions are strong gung ho people. They are influencers to the staff. So we call the unions in first. We are going to do this. What say you? What do people at the ground are saying? You get that information, and then you get a smoother transition. Because unions can convince them, okay, we will give you, they can bargain with us. They can bargain with management, right? Okay, we can up it up to here, but this is about all, because if you give you further up, we will lose like this and everybody will lose. So you convince the union people, and then you must help us to tell your people. We give you a week to do it, and then we're going to come in to do it. And we would not accept the resistance. You can talk like that to the union people, but not to your staff. Because union people are supposed to be tough. And they're supposed to fight for your people, right? So you get them on board.
Mm. You have handled the union before, Dr. Anya, yeah?
Yeah, interesting handling of unions here. Because,
Ah.
but in actual fact, they only want what is best. Sometimes they try harder to get more.
Mm-hmm.
But you must tell them, if you want, we give you more, this is what will happen. We open with them. Although you probably have some things under in your sleeve that you would not want to tell them, but they only need to know that if we give you more, this is, go a bit lower so you can go a bit higher and a bit lower from them. It's a
Mm-hmm.
strategy thing. It's sense out of war.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe one more question. This is from Nur Mahmud. Um, sometimes there are staff without there are lack of motivation, and HR don't bother perhaps to reach out to this kind of staff. So as a colleague, what could be done to help them?
Okay. First, as in like people without motivation, we must be aware that we cannot give motivation to people. You cannot motivate another person. You can only motivate yourself. What you can do is to provide a motivational environment so that that person can develop hers or his own motivation. You cannot. It is beyond human comprehension to motivate another person. No, that person can motivate himself or herself. So provide that environment. As a friend, you ask them, what is your problem? Why is it? What is it? Is it work? Is it home? Is it that you don't get attention? Uh, what is causing the problem? I'm like I said earlier, I'm not a psychologist, but handling people, you normally want to ask them what is the real issue and dig down, because from that we probably get a lot of information that even that person did not realize. And then how to mitigate that? As a friend, how do you mitigate? Uh, in HR, we have handled issues where uh, head of department told us, I do not want to see this guy anymore in my office come Monday. That was a Thursday. I don't want to see this guy anymore in my office on Monday. I don't care what you do to him. I don't want to see. He is not viable here in the office and he cannot work well with us. So as HR, what do I do? So I asked the person, have you told the guy? He's a very good person. He's a very good, pleasant guy, but we just don't want him there. So can you tell me what is the issue? You attack the head of department before you talk to the guy. And then I will ask permission from the head of department. Can I talk to that person? Yeah, you can talk. So okay, so I called that person into my office. Are you okay at work? We don't say you got a problem with your boss. No. SHR, are you okay at work? Is everything okay? Is work up to your level? Are you being asked to do a lot of other things that you don't want to do? Oh, I'm okay. There's relationship with your peers, okay? Yeah, with your boss, my boss is very close with me. So this is inside my head. My boss is very close with me. Okay. Is there any backlog that you have? Oh yeah, I have backlogs, like 2 or 3 months of work. Okay. What is causing that backlog? Probably that is an issue. What is causing the backlog? Okay, too many directives at one time. This person asked me to do this and then I've not started, another person asked me to do this, so I do not know what to concentrate on. Okay, so if you were to work here out of your office for a week, will you be able to finish the backlog, the 3 months backlog? Yes. Without any disturbances, yes. So I called the boss. Would you allow this guy to clock in at my office for this week? I will return him to you after he finishes his backlog. Okay, can. So done. So clock in. So every day you come and sit down here, okay, and do your work. I can be at the meeting, but you come here. So he sits in my office to do his workstation, then he does his work. At the end of the week, he finishes his backlog and go back.
Mm-hmm.
So facilitate, that's all we do. We are not even a know-all, we just facilitate.
Yeah.
Go to the root cause and facilitate.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Aina. I mean, in HR, is always being a middleman, right? Try to solve the grievances between the two parties.
Yeah, don't let the war erupt.
Yes. Very important. So that comes to another question, which is talking about the multi-generational issues. So this is from Nurul Nadia Jalaluddin. How to have an ideal emotional balance program or working place or ideas for multi-generations organization?
Okay, multi-generational
The Gen X,
gaps.
Gen Y
Uh-huh.
kind of thing.
And then Gen Millennium and everything.
Yes.
This generation gaps are man-made. God made humans, that's all. So go back to basics. people want the same thing at heart, actually. What do they want? They want attention? Yes. They want to feel good? Yes. Um, they want to make sure their welfare is taken care of? Yes. They want to make sure you give them respect at work. Don't be a dumping ground. They don't want to be a dumping ground to the bosses who are not doing work. So that goes across generation. If boss A is not liked by one generation, boss A would not be liked by all the generations, because fundamentally he or she has something that is not likable. What is that? Probably because he or she doesn't do work as supposed to. He or she is speaking to people like they are their subordinates all the time. He or she speaks to people like the person is something the cat brought in. You should only look at what is being done wrong, but not the person as a person. So don't be a crazy woman shouting at the office. Stay professional, that's all.
Yeah. Thank you. I think, Dr. Anya, it has come to the end of a session.
Okay.
I think that will conclude the Q&A for today. So is there any last words from you, Dr. Anya, for all of us? All of us are having these challenges.
First, religion is your salvation. Stay calm, because you know that God will not do this to destroy humans. There would be good that will come out of it, as long as we stay sincere in what we do, inshallah. And also, companies, bosses, please look at your people, because they are definitely your assets. I think Dr. Ida will talk about the eSPO, right?
Yes.
If you have time, because companies must make sure that their people are comfortable at work, they are secured. If a company cannot do that, then because employees are putting their life in your hands, they are depending on you to make sure they have food on the table for their family. That is a very, very big trustworthiness that people are putting in the hands of their bosses. So treat that trust very well, and don't just throw it away. Then the people will not work for you, because they are actually willing to go together with you to the ends of time to make sure the company survive. But if you feel that they are beneath you all the time, then they will not work with you. Inshallah.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Anya. And on behalf of the organizer, Malaysia Productivity Corporation, we would like to thank Dr. Anya as a speaker, and MPC also would like to thank all the participants for your attention and also for your questions. I hope that all
Yeah.
of us will benefit from the session, and please stay tuned to the next session. I've put there in the chat box the website for shared prosperity organization. I hope that maybe if you are in a company, you may want to participate in this shared prosperity organization. Yeah. So please go to www.mpc.gov.my/espo/. Please go to that website. So with that, Dr. Anya and the rest of the participants, I thank you all again and hope to see you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you
Stay
very much.
safe.
Stay safe, everyone.